Have you been, Undina?
Tend the Farmagia. You're back.
I told you I would be, didn't I?
So, the boxed lunch. Are we doing this?
Yep, I cooked up some meat and herbs.
You really planning on giving that to an elemental?
What do you mean? I eat it all the time. It's really tasty.
Cool. Time to check out this denizen food I've read so much about.
Let's eat together then, Undina.
Huh.
Any good?
It's hard to tell with that resting bored face.
Cool. Thanks. It was kind of different from what I read about.
Do you read a lot of books or something?
Yeah, I like denizen fairy tales. I often use my clairvoyance to read them.
Wouldn't have thought an elemental would be interested in junk like that.
You're a denizen. Didn't you like them as a child?
Yeah, Gramps used to read them to me. I don't remember them very well, though.
I don't have anybody I can talk to about fairy tales. Salamandira only cares about muscles. She never asks about my interests.
Why are the elementals all so weird?
Want to hear a fairy tale that fills children with hopes and dreams?
I'm all ears.
Cool. You're the first one who's ever said yes.
Well, how could I say no to a story full of hopes and dreams?
It's called Little Blue Riding Hood.
What?
It's about a little girl in a blue cape who delivers cake and honey to her grandma.
Sounds like a pretty cute story.
Ooh, color me intrigued.
So, Little Blue Riding Hood takes the cake and honey her mother prepared and sets off for her grandma's. Meanwhile, Grandma's been eaten by a wolf.
Is this a horror story?
Calm down. It's a children's story.
But a wolf ate her grandma!
Don't worry. It gets better. Disguising itself as the grandma, the wolf waits for Little Blue to arrive. Little Blue enters the house none the wiser. "Granny, what big ears you have," the girl says. "The better to hear you with, my dear," the wolf replies. "Granny, what big eyes you have," the girl continues. "The better to see you with, my dear," the wolf replies. "Granny, what a big mouth you have. The better to—"
Wait a second. How come she isn't suspicious that her grandma looks so different?
Astute observation. The wolf's disguise was perfect.
But it isn't even hiding its face.
The only characteristic Little Blue used to identify her grandma was her clothes.
Seriously?
Yeah, it didn't even matter that the wolf's voice was different.
What the heck is wrong with her?
And so, the wolf eats Little Blue too.
Well, of course it does.
Full from its meal, the wolf falls asleep. That's when a Farmagia comes walking by. "Is that a wolf?" the Farmagia cries. "It must have eaten Little Blue's grandma."
How could the Farmagia know that already?
Must be a great detective.
Remember, the wolf was wearing the grandma's clothes. Anyone could figure it out.
Then why didn't Little Blue?
Here's where it crescendos. The Farmagia cuts open the wolf's belly.
Ew!
Little Blue and her grandma are freed.
That story wasn't cute at all.
Yeah, if anything, it was kind of disturbing.
Then they fill the wolf's belly with rocks and it dies.
They weren't finished?
They're the real villains.
So, did you like it?
What happened to the hopes and dreams?
Little Blue and her grandma were rescued. Duh.
I guess that's kind of hopeful.
And dreams? More like nightmares.
That was pretty freaky. But I'd be lying if I said I wasn't entertained.
I have another one, if you want to hear it.
Sounds like you really like the conversation.
Maybe. I don't have anyone to chat with besides you.
Then share to your heart's content.
Cool. Here's the next story. The Three Little Turnies.
Turnies are those monsters with no arms and no legs. Just faces, right?
Yeah. This one's about three Turney brothers, each trying to build their own house.
Hey, that sounds fun.
How can they build a house with no arms?
The eldest was lazy and did nothing all day. The middle brother had no motivation whatsoever, but the youngest was dedicated and hardworking.
Man, those first two got pretty bad, huh?
Sounds to me like the author's just bad-mouthing those guys.
The eldest built a flimsy house out of straw. The middle, a house of highly flammable sticks. As for the youngest, he built an underground bomb shelter.
That's not even a house!
What is this guy, a doomsday prepper?
When all the houses were complete, a wolf came by, hungry for turnies.
here we go, another wolf story.
The wolf burned down the first two houses and gobbled up the turnies inside.
Talk about dark.
What a cruel, cruel world these fairy tale characters live in.
Then came the battle between the wolf and the youngest brother who was ready and waiting. The wolf used explosive magic, then tornado magic, but the shelter door refused to budge.
The wolf is a wizard now, too?
The wolf gave up on the door and crept inside the chimney sticking out above ground.
You should have done that from the beginning.
But that was exactly what the tourney had been expecting. The wolf descended the chimney straight into a roaring pot, where it boiled to death.
This is brutal.
But the conclusion is my favorite of all. The tourney cut open the wolf's belly and freed his brothers.
That's the same ending as the last story.
The moral being you can save any creature by cutting open the belly of whatever ate it. Wise knowledge from the denizens of yore.
That's not even true.
Whatever. What other stories did I have memorized?
Looks like she hasn't had her fill yet.
You really love fairy tales, huh?
Yeah. I've always wanted to share them with someone. Oh, damn. Look at the time. I got so distracted. You're pretty cool, Ten the Farmagia.
What's up?
What do you want me to call you?
Oh, just 10 is fine.
Really? That's kind of boring.
Huh? But it's my name.
What about 1010?
1010? Sure. Why not?
Then that's what I'll call you. Today was fun. Stories feel so different when you're actually telling them to someone.
Yeah, and it's been a while since I heard a fairy tale.
I have a lot more that you've never heard before. Come back and maybe I'll tell them to you.
Okay, I will.
And I actually want hopes and dreams in the next one.
See ya, Undina.
Oh, before you go, could you bring lunch again next time?
You actually liked his cooking?
No fooling? I couldn't tell how you felt about it earlier. Sure, I'll bring you some more.
Cool. Looking forward to it.